land of the Prix, home of the OC, and me on commentary. Welcome to round 18 of the GP4 OC 2020 Championship. We're here for the United States Grand Prix in Austin, Texas, at the Circuit of the Americas, also known as COTA. It's the 10th of 12 circuits to not feature on the revised 2020 F1 calendar in real life. The Constructors' Championship, of course, could be decided today, and all Mercedes need to do is outscore Red Bull. It's as simple as that. And so far, they have been pretty successful in the United States GP over the years. They have won the most, having won 4 times. Now, of course, crucially for them in the Drivers' Championship, they need to look over their shoulder, both Carr and Lopez, because Nicolas Gao has slowly but surely crept up close behind them and is now in championship contention, having won the last round, the Japanese Grand Prix. So they need to look over their shoulders and be very careful, because any mistake they make, Gao could, of course, take advantage of. Previous 5 winners here at COTA have included Jay McKenzie, winning twice in 2016, Warner in 2017, Carr 2018, and Franco Lopez in 2019. So the tyres being first, of course, will be the soft tyres, and now we'll, of course, take a look at the practice results, which are coming up on your screen right now. And it was Carr who was quickest by nearly a second in practice, although it was wet in practice, to be fair. And when I say wet, I mean extremely wet. So the times are very much all over the place. But that was in practice. This is the starting grid for the US Grand Prix, and on the front row is once again the two Mercedes, with Franco Lopez this time edging ahead of Carr by nearly 4/10 with the 149.0. On row 2, it's Kirosma de Rossa, a fantastic qualifying by him, with Evan Byrne 4th for Renault. On row 3, we have the two Gambas, Franco Gamba for Red Bull and Roberto Gamba for Ferrari. Row 4, we have Nicolas Gao for Red Bull and Jake Galloway 8th for Renault. And now as we move on to the next row, row 5, we have Chris Chatfield for AlphaTauri and George Roque for Racing Point. So that is row 5 with the two Brits there. Row 6, we have Daniel Fraser, who put in his best qualifying performance of the season with 11th, Laura Chung in 12th position. Then on row 7 is Joseph Williams 13th, and Ronald Morrison, who had qualified 4th but had a 10th place grid penalty from the last round in Japan, so he dropped down to 14th position. On row 8, we have the two Alfa Romeos of Andrea Federi and Gabriel Gomez. Row 9, we have David Kupok, a poor qualifying from him for AlphaTauri, with Felix Sontag alongside him in 18th position. On the 10th row, we have Dudu Kirby for Haas and Amelia Wilson for Manor. As we move on to the last row of the grid, we have Jamie Griffiths for Williams and Roberto Martinez for Manor. So that is the grid for the US Grand Prix. And team news for this week, and to the surprise of, well, not really anyone, is Franco Gamba will remain at Red Bull for next season. So he will reunite with his old teammate George Roque at Red Bull for next season. Could be a lineup to watch. For the race, it will be a completely dry race, no chance of rain. So this should be very interesting. We've had a lot of rain in the last few races, so makes a change, I suppose. We've been sick of the wet weather, now back to the dry weather. So Lopez on pole car, second, De Rossa third. Could De Rossa maybe even make a good launch into the first corner? We're about to find out as the 5 lights are coming on for the US Grand Prix. We are underway, and Carr gets a pretty decent launch off the line there, and could even take the lead into the first corner, and I believe he can, although Lopez will hold it around the outside, which he does. But Carr originally got a great launch of the line, and we've got chaos at the back. We've got a track blockage. We've got Chung, who is involved, Willows, who's out, and Chung is as well, and there's a bunch of cars that are stuck behind these two that are out, and now they're finally getting going. But the Alfa Romeo there, I think, has got front wing damage as well. So we're about to find out what happened here. This is on board with Laura Chung, who has made a pretty decent launch actually off the line, heading towards the first corner, and then she goes into the runner, but then she gets clobbered from behind, and we're looking on board from Gabriel Gomez. I wonder if he had anything to do with it, and oh yes he did, he went heavily into the McLaren of Willows, and actually Gomez himself has been eliminated too, so unfortunately for Willows, you can see the on board from him, Gomez just catches the back end of him, and actually I don't know if the Haas there got damage or not, but he got hit as well. Looking at the onboard from Federi, and Federi himself actually got damage. He went to the back of the Haas, actually, who I think actually may have got away without damage, believe it or not. Don't quite know how. But this is the onboard from George Roque a bit further up the grid. He started in 10th position, got a pretty good launch of the line, actually gets past Jake Galloway, and it makes a dive bomb into the first corner, all the way up to 5th. Could he get 4th? He looks on the inside of Bumper, can't quite doing. Oh, he has a Red Bull. We're trying to get back around the outside there, but George Roque making a great start from 10th to 5th just in the first quarter alone. We're looking now on board with Felix Sontag coming on towards the back straight, and the Renault's made contact with the Force India there, and Sontag has unfortunately hit the Force India there of Ronald Moichin. This was wise. So Jake Galloway trying to make a move on the inside here, and they collect each other. There's been a number of instances of that corner, but Galloway as well has wing damage, so he'll have to go into the pits. Meanwhile, we're looking on board with the AlphaTauri here of Chris Chatfield, who's behind Franco Gamba in the Red Bull, heading up towards the first corner, and Gamba's not really putting up much of a defence. Chatfield on the inside, and he is through up into 7th position, so a good start for Chris Chatfield, moving up 3 positions from where he started, or actually 2 positions, because Roke was starting in 10th, but a number of cars, of course, in the pits, but these guys at the back having to try and gain a lot of time that they lost. But at the moment, the 2 Mercedes still leading. De Rossa's already dropped about 2 seconds off. Roke is right behind the Renault of Byrne, himself is fairly close behind the McLaren of De Rossa in 3rd, although Roke seems to be quite quick at the moment as we're coming towards the hairpin here. Can Roke make a move on the inside? He's going to go for it, and they make contact, but no damage done. But Roke, I think, has made his way through. Now that's given the Red Bull behind of Gal to make a way through, and he does. He's on the inside of Byrne already as they're heading up towards the end of the straight. And can Byrne do it? Or no, he can't, because Byrne is going to try and get back past Roke, which he can't do because Roke defends hard. And is there going to be any collision here? No, there isn't. They managed to keep it safe and sound. Meanwhile, Roberto Gamba passing his cousin Franco there for 8th position, so not a good start for Franco Gamba. I think he's got heavy fuel, so it probably explains why he is struggling at this moment in time. At the moment, the 2 Mercedes seem to be already streaking clear of the rest of the field. At the moment, is Lopez just holding it ahead of Amar Kar, as they're now heading towards the final corner at the end of the 2nd lap. Meanwhile, we're looking now on board with George Roke trying to get past the McLaren of De Rossa, and De Rossa kind of moves to the inside to prevent Roke from taking a look. Meanwhile, behind, Byrne under pressure from Roberto Gamba, although Byrne has actually dropped 2 positions, and as we're looking at the replay to see why that is the case. So Byrne, he made a mistake there, he locked up, and Gal managed to make his way through, and Chatfield just sneaking his way through as well. So Byrne making a silly error there, and he, I don't know how much fuel he's got, but Galloway, looking on board with him, has got light fuel. He's right behind the Manor of Wilson, coming down the back straight, heading in towards turn 12, and Galloway trying to make his way on the inside, and Wilson not really putting up much of a defence, and so he makes his way through, up into P15, a pretty simple move there, past Wilson. Meanwhile, the 2 Mercedes still clear. I mean, look at the gap actually after lap 12. It's 17 seconds, getting close to a pit stop ahead. Roke, who's been stuck behind De Rossa, can't seemingly make a move, and now that's allowing Miklos Gal to possibly try and take an opportunity at him. And of course, Chris Chatfield behind us could also have a look as well and get involved in this battle. But Roke, who's been stuck behind De Rossa, has had a look, but just doesn't seem to have the power to get past the McLaren at this point. And Gal seems to be the quicker car than both of these guys. Meanwhile, David Kupok is in the pits. I don't know if that is a scheduled pit stop or not, but maybe we'll find out soon enough, as Gal was right behind Roke, so heading in towards the hairpin, heading in towards turn 11. He has a look, but Roke defends to the inside. Byrne defending from the Ferrari of Roberto Gamba behind as well, heading up onto the back straight, and I think Gal is just about in the slipstream of Roke. So will he make a late move coming into turn 12? He's in the slipstream. Is he going to go to the? He's going to go to the right. He's going to swap to the left. He gets very close to Roke. They make a little bit of contact there, but no harm done. But Gal letting Roke know he's there in this battle for 3rd position, a big battle as well, you could say. As we're looking through the field, there's Kupok, who has just pitted, of course, and it seemed to be a very early stop for him. So Martinez, who at the moment is having a decent race, up to 13th behind the Haas of Dudu Kirby, who of course is retiring at the end of the season. We're looking now on board with Martinez, who is just about in the slipstream of the Brazilian driver. Can he make a move coming into the turn 12? The corner that is turn 12. He's going to look, but Kirby defends the inside, so that doesn't happen. They have to wait until the front straight. That's the latest place he can make another move. Meanwhile, looking at Kupok, who's taking a move on the inside of Wilson, and is he going to make it through? The answer is yes. He's up into 15th place, of course, having just made that stop, so he's trying to make progress back up the order. Federi down in 17th. At the moment, Lopez, of course, has extended actually the gap to Carr. It's now 3 seconds, and meanwhile, George Roke is actually going to be pitting this lap. He's not been able to get past De Rossa, so he's going to have to do it this time in the pits, it seems. So Roke now in the pits he comes, and so let's see actually how much fuel they put in to Roke's car. I mean, it's fairly early on, so it could maybe be a 2, although it could be a 3. So we're looking on board with him as he comes in towards the pits right now, and he's going to change all 4 tyres. And here we go, and that's light fuel, so it looks like it maybe could be a 3 stop. Roke comes out the pits, not a particularly quick stop, you have to say, 6.8 seconds, but as he comes out of the pits, so here we go, and he's going to come out, looks like in 10th position, just ahead of Jamie Griffiths in the Williams, and behind the Haas of Daniel Fraser. Meanwhile, Gal now taking a look at De Rossa into the hairpin there. He can't quite make it stick, although he's close enough on the straight to take a diving move into turn 12 if he's in the slipstream, which he is, and I think Gal might get past De Rossa pretty easily here. He might do what Roke failed to do. He's going to make it on the inside. De Rossa does try to defend, but I think Gal's already snuck on the inside, and so this should be an easy move for Gal, and it is. Moves up into third position. So a good move there by the Hungarian, so he moves past De Rossa there, already up into 30. So Roke failed to do it for 15 laps, and Gal does it in 1. And now Chris Chatfield will possibly have a look at De Rossa as well. So as they're coming through, heading towards the last few corners, heading towards this long right-hander, which seems to go on for a long time. So that is turn 17, 18 now as they head in towards turn 19. And meanwhile, actually, George Roke has just got past Daniel Fraser, so he's made light work of him. Martinez trying on the inside of Kirby, but he can't quite do it there. And Kupok and Galloway could also close up on those two as well. So Gal's already clear of De Rossa. Meanwhile, Roberto Gamba is in the pits for his first stop for Ferrari. He is going very long on this stint, so it looks like he is going to be going for the 2. So as he comes out of the pits, and he's going to come out ahead of that battle between Fraser and what looks like Jamie Griffiths. So Gamba coming out of the pits right now, which he does. Does he come out ahead of the 2? The answer is no, he comes out. I think he might come up between the 2, which he does. He comes out ahead of Griffiths and behind Daniel Fraser. Meanwhile, Jake Galloway's in the pits once again. But Roberto Gamba will not like to be stuck behind Fraser. He'll want to get past him as soon as possible. So we're looking at Chris Chatfield, who actually I think has now passed De Rossa, and here we go. You see him making a move on the inside at the hairpin there. Pretty simple move for the AlphaTauri driver as he now comes into the pit. So he's in. And so Chatfield, who's had a pretty solid race actually, I have to say, so far. And not really done anything wrong and has showed good pace compared to the leaders. Oh, and actually De Rossa has come in on the same lap as well. I think it was just purely that De Rossa didn't really have a lot of pace. But of course, they are coming back out of the pits. And I believe actually, I think Roke actually has already has gone past a while ago. So I think that strategy from Roke to pit earlier has worked out fantastically well for him, as they come up just ahead of Roberto Gamba there. And yeah, Roke is already well clear. He's already the S's. He's that far clear of these guys. So that has worked out brilliantly well for George Roke. And actually, the undercut seems to be extremely strong here at COTA, now that we've found out. But at the moment, nothing is going to match the 2 Mercedes out front. Nothing is going to stop them at this moment in time. There's Kupok, who is behind Martinez in the manner in this battle for 12th position, as they're coming through the S's part of the track. Now we're on board with Kupok, heading on to the back straight. He's close enough behind Martinez in the slipstream, so he should make a move on the inside. He's going to jink to the left, which he does. Martinez tries to defend, but Kupok is already alongside him as they come into turn 12, and Kupok makes the move, gets a little bit close there to the back of Kirby, moves up into 12th position, so a decent move there from David Kupok. Meanwhile, Roke tried to make a move up the inside of Franco Gamba here. They're now coming onto the front straight, and Roke doesn't quite get a good enough run out of it, unless he makes a dive bomb into the first corner, though Gamba does defend quite early, but Roke can't quite make the move stick here. And he needs to get past Chris Chatfield. Oh, he does! Because I was about to say Chatfield might close up, but Gamba makes a little mistake there coming into the first corner. Look at how much fuel he's got. He's still going to be going until around the late lap 30, so Gamba is going to really be struggling to keep the tyres going on this stint. He goes wide and very close to contact there, but Roke manages to sneak through. Meanwhile, Amar Khan is in for his first pit stop of the race for Mercedes. So let's see where he comes back out onto the circuit. 6.9 second stop, that's alright. It's not that particularly quick, but it's not too bad, I guess. Miguel Scow is in the pits as well for Red Bull, and he is going to be doing a 2-stop. So I think anyone that goes past lap 20 mark is definitely going to be doing a 2-stop. I mean, doing a 3-stop at this point would just be pointless, you could say. So Gal coming out of the pits, and where did he come out? So did he come out ahead of Franco Gamba? So at the moment he's behind George Roke, of course. But I think he'll come out ahead of... No, he doesn't come out ahead. Oh, he comes out behind Chatfield as well. He does come out ahead of De Rossa, though, who is dropped actually quite a bit off Chatfield, so doesn't seemingly have the pace that Chatfield does, which is interesting. Meanwhile, for Dairy, trying desperately to get past Wilson here, coming into turn 12, but Wilson defends hard. At the moment, Lopez clear of Carr, but he is yet to stop. But 30 seconds, that should be enough for Lopez to get himself ahead of Carr, unless Carr has a couple of really strong in-laps. But at the moment, George Roke running in 4th. Evan Byrne at the moment is in 3rd, but he is yet to make a stop. Chapa, meanwhile, making a move on the inside of Franco Gamba. coming into the hairpin there, and that is a good move from him. So he passes Franco Gamba there. Now Miklas Gal is already actually close behind, so he'll be making a move too, and he'll try and go after Chris Chatfield as well. Gap coming down between Lopez and Carr, but crucially Lopez is pitting this lap. We need to hope that Carr's in lap this time, or I suppose that Lopez needs to make his in lap very good. Carr needs to make his lap, well, the fastest lap really, if he wants to get ahead of Lopez. So that could be quite a close encounter there. Meanwhile, Gal already caught up to the back of his teammate Franco Gamba, and of course there will be team orders here, you would assume, for Gamba to let his teammate pass there on differing strategies. So, as we're looking at Gamba, who you can see, look at the speed he carries through there, heading towards turn 19, and then heading towards turn 20. Is he going to make a move into the final corner? Is he going to go for it? No. He sticks behind Franco Gamba. Now I imagine he'll make a move into turn 1, because he's definitely close enough, so he'll jink to the inside. Gamba won't put up much of a defence, which he doesn't. Gal is already alongside Gamba, so they head towards turn 1. This should be an easy move, which it is. Gal passes Gamba, and now he'll go after Chris Chatfield in front, who again, by the way, is having a very good race. Lopez is coming into the pits, and the gap is still just over 28 seconds. And so looking at Carr coming through onto the back straight at this moment in time. So it will be close between Lopez and Carr. I think 28 seconds, I think that is enough still for Lopez to get in front, although it will probably be down to about 27 by now, you would think. But as Lopez is coming around turn 19, it will jink to the left and head towards the pit, so we are going to find out soon enough if that is enough for him to stay out in front of his teammate. And yet the gap actually now down to 27 seconds, so it's getting a little bit tight. So Lopez now coming in, and we'll see if he does come out ahead of Carr or not, or if he'll have to overtake him on circuit. Of course, this will be a 2-stop for Lopez. He'll be pitting quite late on as well, as Lopez pits, changes over tyres and goes back out. And I mean, that was a pretty quick stop from Mercedes, 6.1. So where is Carr compared to Lopez? This is going to be very, very close. Will Lopez still get out in front, or will he have to overtake Carr on the circuit? Just coming up to the line now where he can finally go faster, which is right here near the sign. And Carr has just come over the line, and there he is. And this is going to be exceptionally close, but is Lopez going to get out in front? And yes, he is. So Lopez, crucially, that gap was just enough. So 27 seconds is about the peak there, and he stays in front. Meanwhile, this is De Rosa passing Franco Gamba. This is for P7. Of course, Gamba, who's not pitting for a while now, but that is crucial for Lopez to get out in front there. Meanwhile, this is George Roque, who's now trying to pass Evan Byrne. This is for P3. He's pitting soon, actually, as well. So, of course, it looks like Roque's on the 3-step, and he now passes Byrne full 4 position. And Gal, meanwhile, passes Chatfield for 5th place there. And he makes the move past the AlphaTauri up into 5th. So, good move by Gal. And crucially, of course, they've closed up actually to the back of Roque. So, I guess Roque was held up behind Byrne for a little bit, and that was enough for them to close up. But Roque does make it through, so now I'll have to hope that Byrne holds up Gal enough. Although Gal and Chatfield both seem pretty quick nonetheless. Meanwhile, Franco Lopez sets the fastest lap of the race, or 1:31.9 I think that was. And so, oh, actually Byrne goes to the pits, and oh, look at that from Chatfield. He sneaks through on the inside of Gal there, and Gal will not be happy about that. And is he close enough to make him into the first corner? I don't think so. But Roque in front will hope that these two battle over each other. But that was a great move there. 10,000 IQ from Chris Chatfield there. He took advantage of the fact that Gal got held up as Byrne was going to the pits, and Chatfield said sayonara and went past him. Meanwhile, Evan Byrne actually into the pits for his first pit stop of the race. He'll be making one more before the end. And meanwhile, Roberto Gamba sneaking past. Oh, his teammate Franco Gamba. Although Gamba gets it, Franco Gamba that is, gets it straight back. And that was very close to disaster. Meanwhile, this is Gal, who's on the back of Chatfield. This is the battle for I think that was P4. And this was the action we were just seeing as Gamba was on the inside of Gamba. Roberto Gamba on the inside of Franco Gamba. And there was so nearly contact there, but Franco Gamba cuts back on the inside and takes it. Meanwhile, Gal right behind Chatfield as they're coming in towards the hairpin. Does he go for it? I mean, Chatfield doesn't even defend. And Gal says thank you very much and takes the position away there. I thought Chatfield would put up a bit of a defence because he is in a race with him, but obviously not. And now Gal has free rein to go after Roque, although George Roque in front of him is pitting soon anyway, so he won't have to really worry about him, probably in about a lap or so's time. But look at how much he's already close on the back of Roque, so clearly Gal and Chatfield as well are quicker than him. So meanwhile we're looking at, this is Roberto Gamba going to try once again on his cousin Franco. This time, can he make the move a success? He's on the inside. This is going to be very tight into the corner, but no, I don't think so. Meanwhile, Gal now on the inside of Roque. This is for P3. Roke himself is pitting in about 2 laps time, and Gal, is he going to try it on the inside again? Roke is defending hard. He's not going to let Gal through easily. We need to be careful because Chatfield's still there. Oh, and Gal's got damage. Gal has got damage, and I don't know if it was from Roke or if he went over the curb or not, but he has damaged his front wing, and oh, that is crucial for his race, and Roke we're breathing a sigh of relief, and actually so will Chatfield as well. Let's have a look at that again. So Gal tried to get in the slipstream and make a move on the inside of Roke. Roke defended hard. He had the line, and was there a bit of contact? And there was. And I think it's from that Gal went over the curb there, which knocked the bit of his wing off. So a very unfortunate incident there for Miklos Gal, and he has to pit for a new front wing, and he will be furious at the way that has happened. I mean, you could say he didn't have to do that, but he wanted to make the move past George Roke. It didn't work, and unfortunately he has now paid the price for that move. So he now comes to the pits for a new front wing. And I don't think they'll add much fuel into his car. They had actually, no, I lied. They had a slight bit of fuel into his car, but Gal will still be needing to pit once more before the end anyway. Quick stop as well with the wing. Meanwhile, Roberto Gamba still trying to get past his cousin Franco. It's not working at the moment, but Franco Gamba is holding firm. I mean, they're on fairly similar fuel, although Gamba's technically got lighter fuel because he's still yet to pit. So meanwhile, George Roke now coming in for his second pit stop of the race for Racing Point. So here we go, and we'll find out if he will be on a 2 or 3 stop. I would imagine it would probably be a 3. Meanwhile, Miklos Gal has come back out in 9th position. He's come way down the order. And meanwhile, Evan Byrne is trying to get past Franco Gamba. So as they're coming across the line, Byrne gets a bit of a bad exit there, off the corner. And so Byrne is to try and make a move easy into the first corner. Gamba defends, and Byrne takes a look, but he can't do it. Meanwhile, Miklos Gal actually is just the fastest lap of the race at 1:31.8, so that's showing Gal's pace. Meanwhile, Roke has come up behind Gal. It was a quick stop actually from Racing Point. It was 5.3 seconds, but that lap from Gal showing the pace that he really has. So we're looking now at Byrne, who's all over the back of Franco Gamba, and in about 2.2 seconds, Miklos Gal is going to be on the back of them as well, because he is just set the fast lap of the race, and he seems to be on pace at this moment in time. Meanwhile, Lopez has extended the gap actually to Car up front. It's now 6 seconds. Chatfield just about over a pit stop behind Car in second position. De Rosa is not on the same wavelength as Gal. As looking at Byrne, he's either trying to go around the outside of Franco Gamba. Look at the speed he's got, and he's not even in the slipstream. Going to go around the outside of Franco Gamba before turn 12, and he does do it. So wow, great move there by Evan Byrne. And soon enough, and there he is. There is Miklos Gal, who's already caught up to the back of Gamba. So again, team orders will once again come into play here to let Gal past Gamba, as they're both, of course, on differing strategies. Of course, Gal trying to make up progress from that wing damage she got trying to overtake Roke. So we'll see where he can get at the end of the race. And oh, there's been a car off, and that is Dudu Kirby, who's off the circuit, and that is at the infamous corner, where we've seen a number of instances, well, just in this race alone, actually. And what has happened to Dudu Kirby is this is in the battle with Andrea Federi, who is on the inside, and this is what we've seen before, and yes, it is. So Federi tried it on the inside, and because of how tight the corner is, contact there was inevitable. And so I don't think you can really blame either driver more than the other, as we're looking at Roberto Gamba, who almost gets pushed around the final corner there by Byrne, who makes his way through. Meanwhile, Gamba might even finally try and make his way past his cousin as well, as they head towards the first corner. And is Gamba going to do it? The answer is yes, he does. Does he keep it around the outside? Or no, maybe not. Actually, Roberto Gamba might actually keep it. It's still side by side between the two Francos, with Miklos Gal really wanting to get past these guys ASAP. But Roberto Gamba does hold it, and crucially, that's allowed actually George Roke behind to catch up as well. That's exactly what Gal didn't want. And of course, these two actually are still in a race with each other, because Gal, who would have been battling with Roke and trying to get past him again. He's still in front because Roke had to pit, and now Gal on the inside of Franco Gamba heading up towards turn 12. This is an important move for Gal, of course, because he'll want to make sure that Roke doesn't attack him because he's on fresher tyres. Gal on the inside, although does he make it stick? It's quite late, but I think he will do it, and yes, he does. Now he'll go after Roberto Gamba in front of him, but that was a good battle there. Meanwhile, we're looking through the field. Federi is coming out of the pits. Chatfield at the moment is running in a solid P3, having a good race. I mean, he could be up for a podium, Chatfield. Of course, if he does get it, this would be his first podium in the top tier. Now we're looking at Gal, who is close behind the Ferrari of Roberto Gamba here as they're coming towards the final couple of corners around turn 19. He's going to make a move into turn 20. He's going to look at it, but he can't do it. Although he's going to be right close behind Roberto Gamba coming through the final corner. Meanwhile, Roke behind is going to be close behind Franco Gamba as well. And so now Gal on the inside of Roberto Gamba in towards the first corner, and so is Roke head of Franco Gamba as well. And I'm hoping I've said both their names right because there's too many Gambas here for me to say it over and over again. But Miguel Gal has passed Roberto Gamba. George Roke has passed Franco Gamba. I'm still getting confused now as I say it, but nonetheless, I can finally stop talking about that as all. Meanwhile, George Roke makes a mistake. Oh, Roke makes a bit of a mistake there, and nearly right in front of Gamba. That could have been disastrous, but Roke are really pushing hard on those tyres, making a slight error there. This is after coming through the S's, as you can see. So as he comes through, just gets a little bit out of shape, just to the curve, gets a little bit out of shape, goes wide there, and slides in front of the circuit. If Gamba was any closer, could have been a crash there, but fortunately no harm done. So Roke can now carry on his way and try and go after Roberto Gamba in front of him. So now, speak of the devil, here is Roke a couple of laps later, who's now on the inside of Roberto Gamba. This should be an easy move for him, and look at the gap the Gal's actually got to Roberto Gamba, because Roke made that mistake. But Roke is now finally there, and he moves up into 7th position. Let's see if he can go after Miguel Gal in front of him, who, I mean, he has got fresher tyres than Gal, but Gal has seemed pretty quick so far this race. Meanwhile, Carr lapping the Haas there of Daniel Fraser. So Roke is about 5.9 seconds off. Gal is 2 seconds off 4th place. So I don't know if Roke will be able to catch Gal. We'll find out soon enough if that happens or not. Chatfield at the moment, as I said, running in a fairly innocuous P3. De Rossa is certainly no threat to him at all. I mean, look at the gap actually, over 12 seconds. De Rossa has certainly not got any pace compared to Chatfield. Yeah, I mean, it's looking alright for Chatfield at the moment, running in P3. He's had a very good race, definitely his best race of the season. As meanwhile, we're looking at Franco Gamba heading up towards turn 1. He makes a slight error there, but he's still going around on the same tyres he's had on since lap 1, trying to be the next Sergio Perez. Meanwhile, Andrea Federi trying to make a move past Wilson for 15th position. And to turn 12, will Federi do it? He goes late, and he is going to make a move on the inside, so that is 15th place for him. Meanwhile, David Kupok behind Daniel Fraser in the Haas here. This is the battle for P13. Kupok looks at the final corner, but you don't see many moves being made there. So they're coming through the final corner now. Kupok will need to get back on the slipstream if he wants to make a move on Fraser, which he will now, and he'll swoop to the inside. Fraser does defend hard, but I think Kupok will have the move, will he? This could be close, and nearly may have been a little bit of contact there, but unfortunately I think they get away with it. So we're looking at Gal, who's now on the back actually of Evan Byrne, and he's not too far away actually from De Rossa either. So Gal certainly could have P4 here, which would be good for him. And so we're looking now at Martinez in 12th position, right behind Jamie Griffiths. This is a battle for 11th, and Martinez on the inside makes a late move into the hairpin, and it gets past Griffiths. A good move there from him, so he moves up into 11th, just 1 place off the point, Martinez. And he'd love to get a point for Manor. That would be the best moment of his season. Meanwhile, we're looking through the order, and now Gal is trying on the inside of Byrne. Is he going to do it? Byrne defending hard on the inside there, and he can't quite do it. Kupok is now going to try his move on Griffiths at turn 1. Griffiths doesn't really put up a defence. Kupok on the inside, he's going to go for it. The answer is yes, and Kupok passes Griffiths. That is 4P12, and now he'll go after Rosetta Martinez in front of him, although he's a few seconds in front, but also catch up. And actually Gal now has finally passed Evan Byrne, who once again did try hard to defend coming down the straight, and now he'll go after De Rossa, will Gal, because he's right there, and De Rossa just doesn't seem to have the pace this race. And now here we are, speak of the devil, Gal is right behind De Rossa coming onto the front straight. He's going to make a move on the inside, hanging towards the first corner. Will De Rossa defend? Not really. Gal on the inside, and he is through up into P4, so quick recovery for Gal, already up into P4. Chatfield at the moment is in P3. Will he get him? I don't know. But it's been a pretty good recovery so far for Gal. And De Rossa, can he stick with him? I don't know. I mean, Chatfield, he's not too far in front. I mean, the gap is less than a pit stop. So, I mean, Gal has been on it, really, ever since his pit stop. So, I mean, you never know, really, what could happen. Meanwhile, George Roke is right behind Byrne as they're heading towards the hairpin, but I think he's backed up a little bit, maybe to give himself a chance of another move, but can't quite do it. And now onto the back straight, I should say. Is he going to be closer to make a move? He's just about, I think, in the slipstream, so I think he might make a move to the inside Roke, and here we go. He's going to try on the inside. Will Byrne defend? The answer is he is defending hard, but I think Roke is on the inside here, so I think Roke will make the move for P6, and the answer is yes, he does. He moves up past the Irishman. Get a little bit close there, but no harm done. And he makes it through on the inside. So looking through the field, there's Kupok, who's now again been lapped by the Mercedes there. He's trying to go after Martins in front of him, but Lopez, the gap between him and Carr, it's over 10 seconds now, so Lopez is certainly managing and has the pace compared to his teammate Carr, it seems, at this point in time. Carr doesn't really seem to have an answer to him. So as we look at Kupok, who is trying to his best to try and recover positions, I don't know if he's in without a shout of getting points. Meanwhile, Roke on the inside of De Rossa. This is for P5. De Rossa trying hard to defend, but to no avail. Actually, De Rossa himself is pitting this lap, as a matter of fact. So, and into the pits he comes. So again, De Rossa, who had a good start to the race and was in a very promising position, but has not really, just not had the tyres or the pace, or both really, to contend with the guys around him, particularly Gal, Chatfield and Roke, as Federi has received a 10-second time penalty for the incident with Dudu Kirby. I guess it's not really too much of a surprise, that one. So De Rossa now comes out of the pits, and he'll be going, of course, to the end of this race, and he will come out behind Franco Gamba, I believe, as he comes out of the pits. And Gamba himself actually has pitted this lap. Finally, he is pitted for his one and only stop, and for what worth has that been? Not really. Nothing. No worth to that whatsoever, really, but he does at least come out in the points. I mean, that's better than nothing, but a great way for Red Bull to thank him for staying next season by putting him on a terrible strategy. But meanwhile, Chris Chatfield is coming into the pits for his final stop of the race. I don't know what Gal's... how far is Gal away from Chatfield? So 12.7 seconds. So, I mean, he has been reining in the gap a little bit, Gal, but Chatfield has got a fairly comfortable gap. But as he comes into the pits, we'll see what happens. Of course, Gal's going to be going a fair bit longer than Chatfield. Going to be going to at least probably lap 45, I'd say. So come the end of the race, Gal will be on fresher tyres than Chatfield, so we'll see what happens with that. But at the moment, Chatfield is on for his first OC podium, which he would certainly be very happy to get, that's for sure. So he changes all 4 tyres, and he comes out of the pits, and a decent start, actually 5.5, that's a pretty good stop, I think, actually, from AlphaTauri. So he's out of the pits, and does he come up? No, he comes up behind Byrne, who I think has one more stop to go. So he's now actually right behind Byrne is Chatfield, and he's going to make a move into the first corner, it looks like. He's going to go for it. Byrne doesn't really put up any defence. It should be an easy move for Chatfield for P5, and he is past him. So we'll see if he's going to go after George Roke in front of him, although I think Roke probably pits by the time Chatfield gets up to him. Meanwhile, Lopez is pitting for his final stop of the race, so Carr will temporarily, of course, take the lead. But Carr has had no real answer to Lopez's pace in this race, and it looks like it's going to be a fairly comfortable victory, you would think, at the moment for Lopez, but anything can happen in the OC, and well, yeah, it normally does. So Lopez is in, and he'll go to the end. Carr temporarily takes the lead this race. I mean, there's Gal at the moment, he's in third, but of course Gal is nowhere near the front two. I mean, no one's near the front two, let's face it. And meanwhile, Carr now comes in for his final stop of the race, so can Carr conjure up something to unseat Lopez from the top step of the podium? I don't know. It doesn't look like it at the moment, but you never know as to what could happen in the second half of the race.
Okay, no pressure.
So as Carr changes all 4 tyres, he's going to come out of the pits. Kupok is in 2. So Carr is already down to second position. So I don't think he'll have any answer to Lopez, who's already so far in front, actually, even before the first corner. So Carr needs an absolute miracle. So looking at Federi, who's down in 12th position, fighting with the Williams of Jamie Griffiths in front of him as they're heading through the S's here. No chance to make a move here, so they have to wait until either the hairpin, and Federi makes a very slight error there and loses a little bit of momentum behind him. So Lopez, meanwhile, out front, heading down the front straight, and already looks to be extending the gap to Carr behind him, who is just, of course, pitted. 16 seconds is the gap. Can Carr get 16 seconds in 13 laps? I mean, it is possible, but... well, I say it's possible, but it's not going to happen, I don't think. Meanwhile for Dairies, he's just about in the slipstream with Griffiths. He's kind of getting there, but he's not going to be close enough to make a move on the inside, so you have to wait a few more corners. Meanwhile, Chris Chatfield is close up to the back of Roke. This is the battle for P4. Roke, of course, who is going to pit once more. Chatfield, who isn't, and is going to go to the end, and he wants to get past Roke ASAP, and he'll try and see if he can close up to Gal before he pits. So Chatfield right behind Roke, so they're coming on towards the back straight here, and Chatfield going to get out the slipstream of the racing point and make a move to the inside. Has he quite got enough speed? No, I think he's got it there, has Roke. Meanwhile, Franco Lopez sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:31.8. It's very close between Roke and Chatfield. They nearly make contact there. Chatfield trying his best to get through, but it's not working at this point. So as they're coming through the double right-handed and heading towards the tight left, where again you don't really see many moves being made here, because I say it's not possible. I mean, you can do it, but I don't think I've ever seen it happen before, really. So Chatfield, as they're coming through the final few corners through turn 17, 18, now heading towards turn 19, and then of course they'll be heading to the final corner, turn 20, and then onto the front straight where Chatfield should make his move. And I think he's got a pretty good run off it, and he's in the slipstream of Roke, so this should be a move, although Roke's got a good exit off the corner actually, so Chatfield isn't going to be able to make it stick. So they're going to have to wait until the next straight, although Roke actually is now coming into the pits on this lap, so Chatfield won't have to contend with him for too much longer. But Chatfield would have hoped that he would have passed Roke by now. And we've got a yellow flag on the circuit, and it's Franco Gamba who is out, and it's been not particularly a great race for him, and his engine has now blown. A great thank you from Red Bull to reward him with a new contract for next season. He was running in 8th position, and I mean, I suppose he could have tried. He was maybe going after De Rossa for 7th. I don't know if he was actually going to be able to get him or not, but yeah, I think it would have been pretty tough for him. And unfortunately for Franco Gamba, he is going to retire. Well, he's not going to get any points from this race, but at least he'll know he'll have a seat for next season. Meanwhile, Kupok, I'm not sure if he passed on the yellow flags, and I don't think he did. I think he just about got away with that one, so no harm done for him. Although I don't think he's going to be able to get any points out of this race. And Chatfield, who's still unable to get past Roke, but he'll now be free of Roke as he'll jink to the left and go into the pits, which he does. So now Chatfield is in P4, and it will be P3 once Gal goes into the pits. So again, Chatfield could be on for his first podium, but the question is how quick how quick will Chatfield be for the rest of this, but also how quick will Nicolas Gal be at the end of the race once he pits, because he's needs to hopefully check his fuel. Meanwhile, Evan Byrne is coming in for one more stop as well. Roke comes in. Again, a quick stop from the Racing Point team, so good job from them. And where will Roke come out on the circuit? He's in P7. Will he come out ahead of Roberto Gamba, or will he come out behind Roberto Gamba? And the answer is he's going to come out ahead of Roberto Gamba, because he hasn't even come across the line yet. So meanwhile, Evan Byrne is in for his final stop of the race as well, so that means that Roke will move up another position too. So at the moment, Lopez in the lead, and he is strolling it really. Car's not even actually close. I mean, Lopez has actually extended his lead as well. It's nearly 17.5 seconds. So yeah, I don't think Carr is going to be able to get anything from this race if he can't close on ever so slightly fresher tyres, although I mean, which can make all the difference. But in the dry, it's all about preserving them and using them to the best of your ability. So Gal actually about 40 seconds off, which would be even more once he pits. He's going to be pitting next lap, which he does, and he has come out of the pits, and so he's going to be behind Chris Chatfield for P3. So Chatfield at the moment looking on for a podium, but could Nicolas Gal close on him before the end? I'm not sure, but as we're looking at the gaps, it looks like that Gal has got the pace of Chris Chatfield. Meanwhile, George Roke trying to pass De Rossa. This is for P5. Roke on the inside, De Rossa not making it easy for him, and Roke does get through up into the top 5, so good job there from him. But De Rossa, again, it's a race what could have been for him. Just doesn't have the tyre temperature and the pace compared to the rest of them. Meanwhile, this is Nicolas Gal, who's already close up to Chatfield. Look at the pace he has, and Chatfield I thought would defend more, but I think it's just delaying the inevitable, and Gal on the inside takes 3rd place away from Chris Chatfield. Quite a cruel blow for Chris Chatfield, who's had a fantastic race and could easily have got himself a podium, and unfortunately it's not happened for him today. Meanwhile, this is Evan Byrne, who's passing Roberto Gamba. This is for P7. Byrne looking on for some points. He's had a pretty torrid season. Of course, let's not forget at the Malaysian Grand Prix he was leading and he was set to win, and his engine blew up on him, which was just the most cruelest thing that could possibly happen. but Franco Gamba now, who's obviously been passed by him, and he's set to be lapped by the Mercedes behind there. So, of Franco Lopez, as they're set to come, of course, onto the final lap of the race, which is starting very soon, as Lopez is coming round the final corner now, turn 20, and he's about to start the final lap, lap 56 of the Grand Prix. And of course, it was crucial for Lopez to get out ahead of Carr in the pit stop, because if he didn't, it could have been a tighter race, although Lopez has seemingly had the pace over Carr this race. So I think Lopez would have won regardless, I think, if he came up behind Carr or not. I mean, it could have been different. I mean, he probably would have been closer, but I still think Lopez more than likely would have had it. Gap's come down a bit, of course, but it doesn't, probably because of the traffic, that Lopez is stuck behind, but it will not matter to him one single bit, as he's set to lap the Ferrari of Roberto Gamba if he'll eventually get out of his way, which he now does. So he's on the inside and he's through, so he laps Roberto Gamba, so that means Byrne should be safe for P7. Of course, Gal's already 5 seconds clear of Chatfield. Roke is definitely not going to catch Chatfield before the end, unless Chatfield has a failure, of course, in the last lap. But good race from him. De Rossa, again, it could have been a much better race for him. Was running in third as well and started third as well. Byrne, I mean, just needs to get to the end so he can get some points for him, which he will definitely have thoroughly deserved. But Franco Lopez, of course, winning this race, this is crucial for him in the Drivers' Championship, because if he wins this race, that means he'll take one step closer to possibly securing the title at the next round in Mexico. So Lopez is now coming around the final few corners, coming around turn 17, now around the second part of it, 18, and set to come through into turn 19. And Franco Lopez, who has taken control of this race, and Carr's not been able to put a foot near him. And Franco Lopez coming around the final corner of the 56th and the final time, and he's going to win the United States Grand Prix here in Austin, Texas, and take a step closer towards the title. He wins here at COTA, and a thoroughly deserved victory as well. Roberto Gamba, of course, coming across the line in P8, I should say. And of course, I forget as well, with this, Mercedes are also the 2020 GP4 OC Constructors Champions. And I lie, actually, I said it was they need to outscore, but they just need one single point, and they have certainly got more than 1 point today. So they are the Constructors Champions, so congratulations to them once again. I don't think it was ever really in doubt, just delaying the inevitable, really. Jake Galloway coming across the line in 9th position for Renault. David Kupok will take the final point of the day for AlphaTauri in 10th. I can't remember if he had any damage actually on the first lap or not. I'm honestly can't remember off the top of my head, but he'll get the last point of the race in 10th position. Roberto Martinez, good solid race from him, but just misses out on the points in 11th. He comes ahead of Federi. Miguel Scal, an impressive recovery to 3rd, you could say. And we've got a yellow flag out on the circuit somewhere, and it's Jamie Griffiths who is out. And Jamie Griffiths, who appears to have had an engine failure on the last lap. He was running in P13, and yet there it goes, right on the last lap, his engine fails. And he wasn't going to get any points anyway. He was going to finish in P13, which is quite ironic because that is an unlucky number. So he is unfortunately not going to make it to the finish, but of course he will still be classified for this race. But for Jamie Griffiths, I suppose back to reality for him in that car. And of course he retires before that he can get to the finish line. So yeah, there we go. But of course, looking at Byrne actually was only 2.5 seconds off in the end. But Chris Chatfield as well, 4th place. He'll be very happy with that. It'll be a bit gutted to miss out on the podium. But Evan Byrne was only 2 seconds off of De Rossa at the end, so another couple of laps and he would have had him. But yeah, Chatfield would be devastated to lose out on P3, but P4 still a very solid result. George Rook coming across the line in 5th position. De Rossa will come across the line in 6th position, although you can see there's Byrne, so again another couple of laps, and De Rossa might even have lost another place to Evan Byrne, as these two drivers come across the line. They're the final two cars to come across the line. De Rossa P6 and Byrne in P7. So there we go, that is race over. We'll take a look, of course, at the full race results and, of course, the drivers and constructor standings. So Franco Lopez winning the race ahead of Almacar in 2nd, Miguel Scal in 3rd, Chris Chatfield 4th, George Rook 5th, Carlos De Rossa 6th, Evan Byrne 7th, last corner of the lap, with Roberto Gamba, Jake Galloway and David Kupok completing the rest of the top 10. Roberto Martinez in 11th, and Miguel Scal getting that extra point, fastest lap at 1:31.496. That was quite very fast fastest lap as well, much quicker than anyone else. Andrea Federi in 12th, that's where he stayed, I believe, so no difference to his position. Daniel Fraser in 13th, Jamie Griffiths, of course, still classified by the engine failure in 14th, Willie Wilson in 15th, with the following drivers not finishing this race: Franco Gamba, Dudu Kirby, Felix Santo, Renault Moitin, Gabriel Gomez, and Joseph Willows. So there we go. And now we're looking at the Drivers' Championship. Franco Lopez taking one step closer to securing the Drivers' Championship in Mexico. Amilcar in second. Miguel Scarra, you can say he needs a bit of a miracle, really, to get himself the title. It's still on, of course. Franco Gamma in fourth, Georgia at fifth. The only other movement is that you can see, looking through the order, there's a few movements actually. Chris Chapman moving up, Roberto Gamma moving up, a number of movements in the order. But of course, Marquez just ever so close to getting his first point of the season, but just missing out in 11th, so he'd be pretty gutted not to get a point from what was again a fairly solid race for him as well, but just not to be. But you can see Mercedes are the Constructors' champions, ahead of Red Bull in second. They're pretty much secure second as well. Racing Point in third, Renault in fourth, McLaren fifth. It could be a nice battle actually for P5 between Ferrari and AlphaTauri as well, to get to, well, sixth and also possibly fifth. Alfa Romeo 8th, Williams 9th, Manor 10th, and Haas in 11th. And the driver of the day, of course, was given to Chris Chatfield for fourth place, just missing out on the podium, but at least he'll get a driver of the day for a very good performance. So there we are. That is the US Grand Prix. Not an okay race, I guess. But we'll see you for the next round as we head across the border to Mexico City for the Mexico City Grand Prix. Don't forget, everybody, to like the video, check out our links in the description, check out our Discord, check out our Wikia, check out our Twitter. That's what, everybody, and we'll see you for the Mexico City Grand Prix at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. See you there.